thing comes from I was a walk-on at varsity on for baseball, and my older brother was, and his friends had heard about me and shit, and so they started calling me Shane MacMally. I don't know why, but that just stuck. So MacMally, and then that dude Dave's MMA briefs. Remember him?
No, I really don't actually.
He was just like poser wannabe journalist, like fight expert dude,
Of course.
and he started copy and pasting all my tweets, and he lives here in Albuquerque too.
Oh wow.
He's a fucking weird dude. So he started like internet stalking me and then posting pictures of my house and all kinds of other shit, dude. Making
Dotson.
fake profiles of me. So I just switched to MacMally.
Wow, that's kind of a crazier story than I expected. That's
Yeah, I get
very
weird.
weird. That is very weird.
I challenged him to a boxing match. That's what, like, cause I didn't get all upset about him copying and pasting my tweet. I just thought, it's fucking lame. Everyone knew they were from me, but I called him out formally for a boxing, kickboxing, or MMA match, and then he blocked me and all that shit, and then started doing all that weird stalking shit. So he's gone from Twitter now.
Oh, the internet's weird. The internet's
That was
weird.
fucking weird.
That is very bizarre. And so,
And as far as the cooking, your original question
yeah.
was the cooking, right?
Yeah.
When I got to be about 15, I found myself cooking for me and my brothers a lot of times because my parents worked so much.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would just make, I don't know, random easy stuff. And I got pretty good at making some Asian food. Like I had General Tso's chicken I'd whip up from scratch, and orange chicken, stuff like that. So then I'd be going to like house parties in high school, and everyone I'd show up and, oh, dude, make some fucking orange chicken. So it all kind of just started like that, and then I'd cook for have girls over and cook dinner and whatnot, and then when it really started getting crazy, and the experimenting is I got a house, and then how old was I? Probably like 20, 22 probably.
Nice.
And every fight night, I'd have all the boys over, all of them knew, head over to fucking Mac's house, let's fucking eat and watch the fights. So every morning on Saturday, I would get, a bunch of ribs or, pork butts, stuff like that,
Yeah.
or stuff to make giant. And I'd rip those up during the fights and cover the table with fucking aluminum foil, and we'd all just eat like Vikings during the main event. So, but everything I've learned about cooking was just trial and error and internet recipes, I guess.
Damn, dude, that's pretty fucking badass though, because it looks like you make some, tasty shit.
Oh yeah, dude, I love my food. Most of the time we just eat here at home because we just cook up some dope ass shit. So
That's the way to do it. That's awesome.
But I've never gotten into cooking shows, which I find them fucking boring as shit, dude. It wasn't even cooking shows that helped me with any of those. They give me ideas sometimes, I guess, because I'll just once they pop up in a recipe Google search, but yeah, trial and error, basically.
That is awesome. That is so great. So, like, when it comes to MMA, though, like, when did the fandom start for you? Like, do you have a first fight you remember? Or did you like wrestling first? Like, tell me about that.
I've got to be honest, I don't know very much about, like, the pure wrestling. Like, just wrestling as a sport. I really don't know shit about that. I mean, I was a baseball player throughout my whole life, and, we kind of would just make fun of the dudes that wore those, whatever they wear in wrestling. I don't know what it's technically called.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know really shit about wrestling. I didn't get into it that way. It's just as a kid, my grandpa, I would go down there every summer to work with horses with him and just basically spend time with him down there in Farmington, New Mexico. And he would watch, can't remember, I think it was UFC on Fuel back in the day.
Okay.
So he'd watch fights, and I'd watch them, and, they were just fascinating to me. And my first favorite fighter was Evan Tanner, because that was his favorite fighter. He liked Evan Tanner and then Forrest Griffin. So, naturally, Evan Tanner became my favorite.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have called myself a hardcore fan or anything back then. I just liked watching them with my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't have, internet yet, so it's like I couldn't get on Fight Pass and
Yeah, yeah.
really dive in. So it was just whenever it was on, I was watching it. Then working at Discount Tire, worked there for a long time when I turned 18. We would have like wrestling tournaments. We'd like do, just grappling, I shouldn't say wrestling, like grappling tournaments after we'd close right there on the asphalt outside the loading bay. And I don't know, like I worked with a dude that trained at Jackson's.
Oh, nice.
And he was a pro fighter. I think he only fought like 2 or 3 times, and he went to the Army. But he was really, really good, and that really sparked my interest. So then that's where the whole thing started, with everyone come over to my house for the fights on Saturday.
Nice. Are you pretty close to like Jackson's then?
Like location wise,
Yeah, yeah,
I used to be. I mean, Albuquerque's not big at all.
yeah.
I mean, it's gotten bigger lately, and now I live outside of Albuquerque. But I mean, Jackson's probably a 10-minute drive from my house. But Keith Jardine opened up a little gym. Actually, so like Greg Jackson had his original one, kind of down in the downtown area.
Yeah.
But then Mike Winklejohn opened up a kickboxing place of his own that was literally within a mile of my house.
Oh, wow.
As a teenager. And then Keith Jardine opened his own and bought out that building, or rented that building that Winklejohn used to use.
Oh, okay.
But I'm from the area of town. John Jones, like Holly Holmes, all them live.
Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. And I know you went to that last event too, so that's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Which didn't seem like you enjoyed it too much from what I saw.
Well, basically what I was on was, I've been to, that was my 7th event. My first event was the first time they came here to Albuquerque, and it was the Henderson versus Kabilov main event. And it was at a place we have here called Tingley Coliseum, which is this old-ass, place. We have rodeos and some concerts. I don't think they really do concerts there anymore, but it was like our biggest venue was the pit. And the pit is where we play our college basketball, which is by far our nicest venue. But from what I've always heard, the UFC won't hold one there because like they have weird drinking laws there. Like you can only drink in certain parts of it. So that's what I've always heard, and I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But it was a mess at Tingley. I mean, you're talking like a 30-minute wait in the beer line.
Jeez, that's fun.
And then like it took an hour just to get through the line from outdoors to get in, because it's just not built for that type of, that amount of people.
Yeah.
And so I never thought they'd come back. And then when they came back last week, I was pretty stoked because they held it at a different place, kind of outside of town at Rio Rancho. And that's where we have like, the state basketball championships each year. And it's not big at all either. Yeah. But I had high hopes. And when I went there, dude, it was just like so fucking crowded. It was supposed to be better with the beer lines and all that, but it was still just too small. So I had to watch like one fight, literally kind of leaning out to the side, looking into the venue at one of the screens they had while I waited in the beer line. So, I mean, it was, I don't know.
It was.
And when you've been to like cards like UFC 189, that's just kind of, it was cool.
Compare.
I'm glad they came back, but I just don't think we have the will, but we don't have the way.
Perfect way to put it.
Yeah, so that's that. And then the fights were pretty whack too.
Yeah, no kidding. What was the co-main event like in person? Because that was just the weirdest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, dude. So, you mean like spectating the fight or the crowd?
Everything, really. But the crowd, though. What was the crowd like?
The fight was odd, by itself. But the real fascination being there, and just like, dude, the people. I mean, they wanted Diego to win so bad. It got so fucking loud there just when he walked out. And then I rip on casuals all the time. It's just a joke. I don't actually hate casuals. But, there were so many casuals in there, bro. Like, just no one knew what the fuck was going on. Like, the first illegal knee DQ that happened earlier that night with Vargas and Brock Weaver, dude, people literally thought, I mean, they dead ass were cheering their asses off when he landed that knee because they thought he won.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, you had this weird fight, and then you could tell the fans were kind of checking out as nothing was really happening in the fight. It was just so weird. And then when that knee landed, you know, just kind of confusion, but cheering at the same time. And then they took it, man. When they said Diego won, everyone, yeah, fuck yeah, New Mexico, 505.
That's
You know,
so funny.
it was pretty bizarre, dude.
I
It was pretty
believe it.
bizarre.
I believe it. Jeez. I mean, so talking about casuals there a little bit, those guys are always fun, but you know, you're hardcore now. Like, right? You'd say you're hardcore. I mean, I would say you're hardcore. So, like, how much? I know you like to watch Ryzen, you know, get to Bellator, but how much do you, like MMA do you make sure that you watch nowadays?
I never miss, like never. I don't miss Invicta, Risen, Bellator, or UFC.
Mm-hmm. Can pass on one.
Yeah, my problem with one is straight up that it's just on Friday mornings.
Yeah, it is
Like,
weird.
dude, I can watch a card on Saturday night, stay up until 8 the next morning watching a Risen card. That's really not a problem at all. But
Yeah.
for whatever, it's like I'm not committing to staying up all night on a Friday for that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and then, you know, but I don't know, the fights I have stayed up, I'll stay up when Demetrius, Sage, or Alvarez is fighting, though. So
Well, so far they've put those like on Saturdays. It's like, why are you guys ruining? Let us watch the rest. If you're gonna, don't separate the days all like that.
for real, yeah. So I'm not huge on one, and then, you know, there's all that shit they say about how fake one is with, you know, we have 3.8 trillion viewers and all that shit. And then that guy Jonathan of Kowloon on Twitter
yeah.
is always tweeting about how, you know, they fudged the numbers to make it look far more popular. And that doesn't make me not like the fights. I think the fights are fixed or anything like that.
Yeah.
It makes me kind of have a dampened perspective. I don't know if that's even the right word.
No, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I see it through beer goggles, I guess. I don't know, something
Exactly.
like that.
No, yeah, there's definitely. I don't think it's really a weird thing to say anymore, but there's definitely shadiness surrounding one. So
Yeah, so I don't think it's the big, huge organization that's going to take over. Some people might think, but it definitely has.
Yeah.
Enjoyed every time I've watched. It's the timing.
Yeah. So aside from one, though, pretty much catching it all.
Wait, which one?
Aside from one, you're pretty much catching all the other action, though. Is what?
Yeah.
Nice. And so.
Oh, and then I should have said LFA. I never miss it. Well, I've missed some LFAs, but I think they deliver the most violent. Pound for pound, the violence kings. And you look how many fucking UFC fighters come from LFA. I mean, it's staggering.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's a very good point. Yeah. So, I mean, when it comes to your Twitter account now, though, got to talk about this, obviously. 'Cause, I mean, I was going to ask you, like, what made you want to start it, but it sounds like from, you know, beginning that you were just making it as, like, your account, you know, nothing special. But
I literally got a Twitter because... well, I mean, were you done with your question?
Sorry for interrupting. Yeah, that was it.
Basically, the only reason I started Twitter, for whatever reason, it seems like Twitter's popular in a lot of areas, but, like, for whatever reason, in New Mexico, no one seems to have a fucking Twitter. Like, there's zero Twitter presence. Like, no one really knows what it is besides, that shit Donald Trump tweets from. You know, like...
Yeah.
So, when I'd watch the fights all the time with my boys, we'd have a cookout, whatever... You know, you'd always notice that you'll be like, breaking news. So-and-so just tweeted on Twitter. So breaking news from Twitter, you know, or, this fighter announced on Twitter the other day that such and such. Or, you know, you're watching a Dicta card and they go, follow us on Twitter and we'll get your questions in here. And then they read off your questions. You know, so I was always like, how come they never say, like, hey, follow us on Facebook and we'll get your questions on Facebook? You know, nothing like that. So I started a Twitter account for no other reason than just follow fight news.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, like Kaposa was one of the first dudes I found on here, and I was just like, holy shit, look how much MMA I'm missing.
Yeah.
Like, this dude knew, you know, he's always tweeting about all these different fights, posting clips, and so that's when it really just kicked off to another degree. And Like I started picking up on the way like dudes like Izzy would tweet, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my god, dude, some of this shit's fucking hilarious, and it pertains to like the subject I want to talk about anyway. And I've always thought to myself, I'm pretty funny, I guess, and so I've always had funny shit to say. So I started, making my own jokes, and here we are now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you are pretty funny considering how your page has grown so much. And I mean,
It's been crazy.
I remember when we were chatting when you had like maybe 7,000, man, back in the day.
I know and I was telling someone the other day that I actually prefer. I'm glad everyone follows me. I'm glad I'm kind of like, I can share my jokes with so many people, so I'm not complaining.
Yeah, yeah.
But I enjoyed Twitter more, I'd say, when it was just, I had a couple thousand followers
Mm,
and I could interact and talk with everyone. But it's just so many people now. It's hard to keep up, and I feel bad because dudes like you, we used to talk all the time,
yeah.
and I just have so many people trying to talk to me now, and it's just hard to keep up with everyone.
Yeah, I can imagine, man. Because I mean, I looked like right before I called you, but what, 20? Is it 26 or 24,000? Either way, you're getting close to
I think
30.
23 something right now.
Yeah. So I mean,
And I like to respond to everyone because I feel like a dick if I don't like your comment when you interact with me, or
yeah,
like if you comment on my post, I don't want to just ignore you or make you feel like I'm like, ooh. So I try to respond to everyone. That's why, it's just become, there's so many people.
yeah.
It's wild.
I don't want to be big leaguing anybody.
Yeah, no, because I don't think I'm special. It's just, I like to make other people feel like they're involved in the conversation too,
Yeah,
and it's just hard to keep up now.
yeah, totally. But I mean, because like since you're so big now, is it you feel like a little bit committed too to providing like the community with I mean, obviously you want to say funny stuff. Like, who doesn't want to be funny? That's my opinion, anyways. I love like being entertaining and all that. But I mean, in your case, kind of, it's like, oh no, if Matt goes away, everyone's just gonna be freaking out.
I feel like some days I'll be like fucking,
Done
like
with
when
this.
everyone's fighting about shit. Like I tend to kind of sit back and go, I gotta come up with a joke, make some people laugh.
Hmm.
Like get I don't know, get our topic off all this bullshit. I don't know. So sometimes I do feel like somewhat of pressure to make a joke, but I guess it's the same thing as if I just see jokes hanging out there sometimes. I'm like, someone's got to take a swing at that. That's me.
Yeah. Okay, don't need no missed opportunities now.
Yeah, no. I get my at bats.
Yeah, that's great. And we've talked about this a little bit privately. I won't go into that, but I mean, how many like fighters or like people in big names in like MMA have like reached out to you or anything for whatever reason, just like messaging you on stuff? I know some of them, but just like how many would you say?
Mm,
Maybe not a specific number, but like, do a lot of people?
yeah, there's quite a few. It's pretty crazy to me. Like, I mean, it's crazy to me that John Wayne Parr interacts with me on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's a combat sports legend. Ike Valley Flag. I always enjoy interacting with him. He's from New Mexico,
Hmm.
so I don't know if he's from here, but he's a New Mexico resident. He's tried and true 505. But
Hmm.
uh, like Chad Skelly has hit me up for beef jerky, and that reminds me I got to get to him pretty quick. Elias Theodoro,
Yeah, yeah.
talking with him, he's real cool. He's a real cool dude. So, and then of course, nothing will ever top when Gina Carano hit me up for a rib recipe. So I don't really care what happens on Twitter. I don't know what happens on Twitter, but nothing will ever top that.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy when you told me that. I was like, wow, he's definitely, you made it, man.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking cool. That's my defining moment in my opinion.
Did she end up, if she ever end up making it or using it?
Yeah, she did the next day, and she posted a video of it on Instagram,
Oh,
and even
shit.
tagged me in it.
Wow, I didn't see that. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude. So she goes like, oh, shout out to MacMally and some, like I think it was her uncle. She said that was going to that cookout, or or had just given her more pointers too. Because I guess in the DM she had told me her uncle was like a professional chef, and everything I had told her as far as pointers and whatnot were dead on and the same thing he said. So
Wow.
she like shouted me and him out on her Instagram. So that was pretty cool.
That's so crazy to think about, you know?
And then she's really cool too. She still interacts with my tweets and whatnot. And, you know, it's really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. Crazy. And going back to the beginning of the conversation again, I mean, we were talking about how when we were both at MMA Today, RIP MMA Today, um, obviously, I remember you were telling me how maybe you wanted to write a little bit more, but I don't know if you've done any writing since then, or we would talk about like how to get into places since I was kind of pursuing a little bit more than you, obviously. But did you ever want to be more involved with like media side? Because the articles you were writing, they were pretty funny and obviously very unique, pretty much opinion pieces and all that. But yeah, where do
Yeah.
you stand on that side?
Well, I'd say I definitely thought about reviving the MacMally's R-rated MMA rants,
Yeah.
and that's about. I mean, that's about as far as I've thought about it. Like, because I enjoyed doing that. I don't really know why I stopped. I mean, I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of fun to talk about MMA, but then I realized I can just talk about MMA, just on the TL.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then MMA Today kind of fell out, and I haven't really done anything. But there has been a couple companies or websites or whatever you want to call them that have hit me up asking if I would write for them.
Oh, really? That's cool. Well, yeah, man. I mean, it was just those were good stuff, and I mean, obviously, if you're not a guy who would want to do like the news pieces and everything. Honestly, those aren't. I really don't like doing those either. But it's kind of something you got to grind out a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, and then I saw the way like people like you and Nolan started, putting in work and doing real good, kind of, in my opinion, kind of blowing up as far as the, MMA media, starting off MMA media's, game goes. And I just knew, like, bro, these guys work their asses off. And for me, it's more just like a fun, I'll just do it when I feel like it thing. And I probably never put the same effort into it.
Yeah. I hear that. Well, thanks for the compliment. Nolan's kind of blown up a lot more than all of us, but yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, Nolan really hit the rocket boosters, huh?
God, that's so crazy. Good for him, though. He deserves it. Madness. All right, as for Twitter again, though, I mean, do you know what your most reacted to tweet is? I remember there was one that was fucking huge, but I don't know if there's one you can.
I saw a tweet asking what your biggest tweet was today, and I was like trying to think, fuck, what is mine? Like,
I remember there was one we were talking about, like when it was happening. We're like, Jesus, this one's real. I don't remember what it was though, but
I think as far as like numbers go or whatever, I think the most likes I ever got on a tweet was like 14,000, and I think it was when Stipe beat Daniel Cormier, and I posted a video of that coach from Waterboy, and I said, like Joe Rogan says, Stipe, how do you feel after your win? And then I put Stipe, and then him being the video, and that dude just goes like, and that one blew up. But I think my favorite tweet is the one where I said, like, if Risen is your girlfriend, or UFC is your wife, Bellator's your girlfriend, Risen's your out-of-town side piece, then bare knuckle boxing would be a hooker you get a blowjob from for a pack of cigarettes outside of Circle K.
so,
and like Alistair Overeem, a couple other huge fighters like that one. And then that was my pinned tweet for a long time until I accidentally deleted it. I don't know how so. Yeah, so now my favorite one's the fight pass and eat ass.
Yeah, that one's good too. Quality content, sir. That's what it is.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, the most ridiculous thing though, I think about, just your Twitter celebrityness, if we're gonna call it that, because I mean you're kind of a Twitter celebrity, bro. The MMA comedian, I would say, of the Twitter
Well,
world.
thank you again, sir.
But the most ridiculous thing uh, is your dog's account, right? Do you know? Do you know
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm-hmm.
is running that yet?
No, and see, that's what's funny. There's a lot of people, especially that have followed me recently, that think that it's just me talking to myself, and I don't know who started that account. And it can be drawn back to, I remember the first time he popped up, me and some dudes were talking on Twitter about PS4 or Xbox,
Yeah.
and I said I have an Xbox, PS4, and PC, and then I just see Gokhan's fucking picture pop up and him say, "You're embarrassing me, nerd," or something like that. And I was like, "What the fuck?" And I thought it was like maybe my girlfriend,
Yeah.
and no, it ended up it's just some dude that had been following me, and he likes Gokhan, and it's just worked so well. And I don't think I'd be interested in it anymore if I was doing it with myself.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
That's
I would have lost interest a long time ago, but because I can't put a face on, like if I knew it was my girlfriend, I would have lost interest too by now, because it would be like I'd see a tweet from Gokhan and I'd be like, "Oh, shut up," you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
But because I don't know who it is, it's almost like Gokhan is fucking tweeting it. So it's hilarious. And so I send him the pictures. I mean, we chat all the time, but we just don't go into like the personal stuff
Yeah.
because it's just kind of a, I guess, Twitter's best kept secret. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, mad props to that guy for being able to not like
Oh,
spill by now, because I would probably be like, okay, it's this person, you know?
someone would want to take credit or something, right?
Yeah,
And like
yeah.
I've asked him before, like, how many Twitter followers do you have? And I think he said like 300. So I know he gets far more interactions on Gokhan's account, and I mean I'm glad he stuck with it because I really enjoy talking shit with him because I think it's funny.
So it's so ridiculous, and I'm still so mad that he's got more Twitter followers than me now.
How
Fucking
many does he have
dog.
now?
He's got like I think 2,700 or something. I'm like, God damn,
That's
what
hilarious.
am I doing wrong?
Yeah, dude, I'm not even being biased. Like, I think his Twitter account is one of the funniest ones. Like, the dog videos he posts, and then his obsession with Valerie.
Yeah.
Like, I think he's funny as shit. And again, that's not me. I can't take credit for that. And I've said that many times.
Oh my god. It's too good. It's too good. Oh my god.
Yeah, but I
Oh.
don't know if I said this already, but yeah, I send him like all the pictures to use.
Mhm.
So like, if I take a funny picture of Gokhan, I just DM it to him real quick so he can use it.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I was kind of like, how the fuck is he getting like all these pictures of his dog? Like,
Yeah, we DM all the time. Like we chat a lot, but yeah, I send him all those pictures to use, and he has a folder in his phone. I guess he keeps all the Gokhan pictures. It's funny. You want to hear something funny? His girlfriend didn't know he did that, and for the longest time he hid it from her because he was like, "Dude, today, she opened my phone and found a folder of Gokhan pics and was like, who the fuck is this dog?" And he's like, "Oh, just a dog I like on Twitter." And he kind of left it at that because he thought she'd think it was weird.
Yeah.
He was running a dog's account. And then I don't think I convinced him, but I had told him, "Dude, just tell her. She'd probably think it's hilarious."
Yeah.
And eventually, after a long time, he finally did tell her, and she thought it was hilarious. So,
Dude, that's, that is so fucking ridiculous. I love it. Oh, I can't get over that shit.
and it's funny too because like the way he tweets, like Gokhan honestly is a dumbass dog like that. Like, bro, it
Too
fits his
perfect.
personality almost perfectly.
Oh, that's so good. Wow. Okay. Well, I'll leave you with one last thing here, man. Depending on where the conversation goes, but big gamer too. Love your video games. You just got a Switch, and I was telling you, you got to get a Switch because the Switch is awesome. I think, even though I just kind of got one too, so I'm not. I think it's cool. Anyway,
Dude, I fucking love Super Smash Bros, man.
yeah, yeah. So like, how?
It's fucking
What was that?
whack though, because my best character is Kirby,
Oh yeah.
and he's like the worst character on the game. But I don't know. I fucking love that game. I'm trying to unlock Pokemon training. I don't want to use Charizard.
There you go. So like, how do a lot of people try and game with you too? Because I know you're open to like just playing with anybody and kicking some
Oh
ass.
my god, it's ridiculous. Yes, like there's so many people that try to challenge me. There's only three people that have beaten me best 2 out of 3.
Only
Like in
three.
a little, only three, and I fought at least 100 people. And it's gotten annoying now though because like some people take it way too serious. So like I'm just trying to enjoy it and play some video games, and some of these dudes just like they'll oh Mac, you gotta fight me, I'll decrown you, bro, I'll decrown you. And there's a ton of better players at that game than me.
Yeah.
But what they'll do is so I'll join the party, and then they'll go and do 5 full-minute rounds, or 5 5 minute rounds, and usually the clock is accelerated, so the rounds are like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
But they'll go full 5 minute rounds with non-clock acceleration, and then point fight me.
Oh my God. They
And like
just
I
want to
don't,
win.
I have zero interest in that.
Yeah.
And so that shit's gotten annoying. So I've slowed down on that because I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to fight you for a whole Family Guy episode. Like most dudes, we already have 3 fights done.
Yeah. That's so funny. They just want the win. They want to say they beat you.
Oh yeah. And then there's also people that I beat 2 out of 3 times, or even 9 out of 10 times, but they'll post the one video
Yep, yep.
of them knocking me out.
Oh my God.
Petty.
So I remember when we played like a couple fights and goddamn you just waxed me.
Yeah, I think most people I wax real quick. Like I'll catch them with the MacMally sleeper special, but there's there are just some dudes on that game that are fucking wizards.
Yeah. Crazy. All right, man. I'll actually leave you with one actual legit last question here. Now I know we're going about 40 minutes. Sorry to take so much time, bro. Um, would you say that life would be less exciting without the Twitter that you have instead?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like I was never huge on social media. Like I mean, interest wise, and now I just love having an outlet where I can make jokes pertaining to a subject I want to talk about
Yeah.
that people can understand. Like, cause I walk up to one of my friends in real life and tell them one of my fucking MMA jokes, they're more than likely not going to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really cool that I found an outlet that I can make jokes about a subject a bunch of people are tuned into on that specific site. So
Yeah.
I really love doing that because, before, like I said, I come up with something funny as shit while I'm watching the fights, and you tell your boy, and he's like, oh, I don't get it. I don't know who Gabby Garcia is, or, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Like, God damn it.
Yeah, and oh, Jesus Christ, that was a good joke. Yeah, so it's just great. That's why I love Twitter. I can't think of a, more concentrated area of MMA fans that I can be engaged with.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That is like that's the nicest thing I think about, maybe being a fan of MMA because like it's not, sure it's bigger now, but it's not like you can talk about like football or basketball with pretty much, most people and like run across, at least in my case for the people I know, but MMA it's more hit or miss, like a lot more hit or miss. So Twitter, you're like, there they are. I know where I can go.
Yeah, like 9 out of 10 times, you bring up MMA to someone, just some random person or someone doesn't really follow it that much, like family member or friend, and it's yeah, the Conor McGregor and Holly Holmes or
Yeah,
John Jones. They don't know anything about anyone that doesn't fight in the co-main or main event for the
exactly.
most part.
Filthy, filthy casuals.
Yeah, filthy fucking casuals, man.